Hello, everybody. My name is Jasmine Ledesma. I am a student here at Central Texas College, a part of the student organization at Impact. We have partnered with a national organization of students called Up to Us, where we want to spread the awareness of the importance of fiscal sustainability and fiscal policy. I will now share my screen so that you guys can see the presentation. Okay, so what is in it for us? Through the competition, we as students or select, students at different universities and colleges all over the nation receive training and funds to run tailored campus campaigns to educate our peers and inspire collective action. The first place prize winners win a grand prize of $10,000 and a paid trip to a world-class conference, which would be great for us if we could win. Up to Us is a nonpartisan national outreach campaign that aims towards awareness for the rising national debt and brings awareness for the sustainability of the fiscal policy of the United States. We are students at Central Texas College, or I am a student at Central Texas College, like I said, a part of the student organization Net Impact. And we have partnered with Up to Us in order to, like I said, bring more awareness to our peers. So, on this day of action, we will be bringing valuable information that you will learn about fiscal policy, the elements of fiscal policy, what we can do to improve it, or the importance of it in general. And then you can learn how to get involved in other things of that nature. Why sustainability matters. Sustainability means meeting our own needs without compromising the ability of future generations to meet their own needs. In addition to natural resources, we also need social and economic resources. So it would be wonderful if, we could start things that will generate more revenue without having to constantly pull from our, federal government in order to cover, certain finances and things like that. Sustainability also matters because it helps a lot of our environmental factors. So if we don't have the air quality to breathe right, and then we're causing all this smog and stuff like that, and we don't want to have, you know, with the oceans affected, like with the oil leakage that was in the ocean, and we're having to go and fix things like that. We don't want things like that to happen. So that is another reason why sustainability matters for environmental quality and health reasons. Sustainability and healthcare are intricately related since the quality of our environment affects public health. Many health issues are directly related to air and water quality. So this is why it is important for us to be able to sustain, you know, our finances as a country so that we may sustain our health as a country. What we can do, we can reduce consumption of resources such as water and energy. So I know you see a lot of solar companies now, they are starting to pop up, which is a great resource that is great for future sustainability using the natural sources that we do get in energy from the sun that is helpful toward our future as far as healthy living, and it saves us a lot of money. Better building practices to reduce energy and waste and more fuel efficient engine in cars and trucks. Okay, the fiscal future. Building a sustainable and economic fiscal future for America's next generation. Elements of the fiscal policy are tax policy, profits of state-owned enterprises, other revenues, and government expenditure policies. The elements of the fiscal policy explained are a higher than usual tax rate will reduce the purchasing power of people and will lead to a decrease in the investment and production. Lower than usual tax rates would leave more money with the people to spend, and this would lead to inflation. Thus, the government must take a balance and impose a correct tax rate for the economy. And we all know taxes are one of the main things, that we as American people see. It's like the first thing that we see and can talk to our, members of Congress about. It is a very important thing, and we don't want higher tax policies, of course. Okay, profits of state-owned enterprises, or labeled as SOE, is a legal entity that is created by a government in order to partake in commercial activities on the government's behalf. It can be wholly or partially owned by a government. It's typically used to participate in specific commercial activities. Revenues. The bulk of federal tax revenue comes from income taxes, payroll taxes, and corporate taxes. So again, this is ties in with the tax policies. Um, and that's where the nation gets most of our revenue from. It's where we make most of our income from. So with more people working jobs and things of that nature, we can help sustain it that way. Government expenditure policies. An expenditure policy of the government deals with the revenue and capital expenditures. These expenditures are done on areas of development like education, health, infrastructure, and etc., and pay internal and external debt and interest on those debts. So the federal government budget process is each year Congress works on a federal budget for the next fiscal year. The government's fiscal year runs from October 1st of one year to September 30th of the next. The budget includes a detailed spending plan. The Constitution puts Congress in charge of the budget, granting it the power to collect taxes, borrow money, and approve spending. How does the government get money, and where does it go? Most government money comes from collecting taxes or revenue from people and businesses, borrowing it by selling treasury securities, savings bonds, notes, and treasury bills. It spends money on Social Security, Medicare, and other mandatory spending required by law, interest on the debt. So any money that the nation gets, it, actually tries to pay, it pays on the debt that our national debt that we have accrued. And discretionary spending, the amount Congress sets annually for all other programs and agencies. These are things like your Medicare and your government or SNAP, TANF, and things like that, your government assistance programs. The national debt and fiscal policy. So how the national debt affects us as citizens. If we can improve the national debt, we will have or if we don't improve the national debt, we will have a reduction of spending. So this goes towards things like our infrastructure. I know here in Texas, there are some highways that need fixing. And if we don't have the money for that, then we'll just be riding on bumpy roads and potholes and things like that. So infrastructure is a very important part. And then it makes others, that are traveling, when you want people to come to your city to, increase the revenue of small cities, because the revenue of the national debt affects us on a local level as well. So you would want, people from around the nation or even from other countries to visit your area, and infrastructure plays a good part of that. If it is not improved, it will cause inflation. Really don't want that. So things like milk, eggs, things that you need every day, all of those prices will go up. The cost of living. So you living in an apartment or renting a house, things like that become more expensive if we don't improve our national debt and reduce living standards. You'll go from the ability of renting a house to probably downsizing to an apartment because it's more affordable. And then even that is a stretch. So we want to improve our debt as a nation because it would help, us be more comfortable and live more comfortable. It affects our country because it affects our entrepreneurial spending. So this is for those of us that want to be entrepreneurs and want to start businesses of our own. It'll hard to get that outside funding because our money is tied up, or it's not enough to go toward that, because now we're having to focus more on getting the debt down versus helping the citizens. It slows down investments on education. So that's where the budget cuts come in, when they take away programs from our schools, like taking away the art program from elementary school. Special areas was my favorite when I was in elementary school. So imagine it being taken away from you, music and art. PE is a necessity because it's, I don't think that would be taken away, but they take away budget cuts from school. So the programs like there are some high schools that do dual credit for colleges, and then you have some high schools that help. Um, they practice with vocational schools or things of that nature, so they can learn a trade while they're in high school, so that when they graduate, they'll have something to look forward to. If they don't want to go straight to a college, they'll have at least a vocational or some form of training under their belt. So if there's no funding for that, the students lose that, and then you know they lose that hope for that. And it lowers our national security. That means, our military and how we defend ourselves that would be lowered. It's kind of scary if we don't have that protection of, our law enforcement or our military, and other countries feel like they can come in and impose, possibly, I'm not saying that will happen, of course, but there's that possibility of that happening if it is lowered. How to get involved? So there are multiple ways to get involved. The first way is to sign the pledge. It is up to us.org/get involved for more information and links. But when you sign the pledge, all the people that sign the pledge, we ask for not your exact location, but just the city. And when we get the collection of those signatures, it gets sent over to your local members of Congress so that they can see how involved we are as citizens, and us millennials are, how involved we are in improving our, national debt and fiscal responsibility, because it is important to us. You can host an event. You can get published on Up to Us, so you can send a 10 to 15-minute video to anything of your choice to that you, or why fiscal responsibility is important to you, or improving the national debt is important to you. You can like and follow us on all of our social media pages. So ours is on Facebook. It is Up to Us/NICTC. All righty. It is time to take the pledge. Like I said, by signing the pledge, you are voting for a strong fiscal foundation for our country to ensure we are investing in our generation's future in a sustainable way. Every pledge counts. And again, to reiterate, every signature gets sent off to our members of Congress to let them know that we as citizens do care and are concerned about our nation's finances and how to improve our fiscal responsibility as a nation. You can host an event. Um, it can be deliberative dialogue. It can be a trivia night, a film fest. You can create your own activity and become a partner. You have open room for creativity to host an event. Uh, and you can win actual prizes if you do decide to host an event for Up to Us and then send it to them, and then they'll decide whether they'll have to approve or deny it first, because of course you have to make sure there's nothing inappropriate. But there are a lot of things that you can do to host an event. If you would like to do that, go to it's up to us.org, and it'll give you more information there. You can get published on Up to Us. You can share your story, a video, or an article. So you will be a part of the Up to Us initiative, but you will also have the chance to win $500 through a raffle that's done every 60 days. Every 60 days. So if you want to, like I said, just share why it is important to you as a person or individually, or how it is important to your city or your state, anything of that nature, you can just publish that on itsuptus.org, and you will be entered into that raffle to win a gift of $500. That is a free $500. You don't have to pay for it. You don't have to purchase anything to be entered into the raffle. Free money. But now it is your turn. This is your chance to ask any questions or discuss what we have shared with you. Do I have anyone that has questions?
No, ma'am, I don't have a question.
All righty. Thank you.
Questions.
No questions? All right. Thank you. All right. So that is the end of my presentation. thank everyone for coming and supporting me presenting what Up to Us is. It does mean a lot to our country to have, it is important for us as millennials, or even it's important for everybody to know how ways we can help and improve our fiscal policy as a nation and ways that we can get connected and help to be better because there are a lot of things that we can improve on as a nation, and this is one of them. We can get together and there are power in numbers. Once they see us all wanting to work together, there are ways to improve it.